Good morning. Thank you for joining us for the BPM Change Management PRR Review Monthly Meeting. My name is Nicole Hines, representing ISO Customer Readiness, and I'll be facilitating today's web conference. Today's call is being recorded. These recordings are for informational and convenience purposes only, and any related transcriptions should not be reprinted without the ISO's permission. As a reminder, these monthly calls are structured to stimulate an honest dialogue and engage in different perspectives. While we welcome comments and questions, please remember to keep comments professional and respectful. We will be taking questions throughout the call today. If you have dialed in by your phone only and not on the WebEx, you can enter the question queue at any time by pressing #2 on your telephone keypad. If you connected audio through the WebEx platform, please use the raise hand icon featured above the chat box in the lower right-hand side of your screen. Please introduce yourself before asking your questions. And if you need technical assistance during the call today, please send a chat message to the event producer. The purpose of today's meeting is to discuss the proposed revision requests that are in the initial or recommendation stage of the process. We will be discussing 23 PRRs today. 8 are in the initial stage and 14 are in the, 15 are in the recommendation stage. 1 was submitted by Gridwell Consulting, and the remaining PRRs are submitted by the ISO. The purpose of the BPM is to set forth business practices that implement the ISO tariff. Each year, we conduct a yearly policy initiative roadmap to consider and rank initiatives. Policy changes submitted through the PRR process will be referred to the policy initiative roadmap, and each subject area in a BPM is based on enabling language in the ISO tariff. The PRR process cannot be used to introduce changes that are not supported by existing tariff authority. The first BPM we're going to be talking about today is the Managing Full Network Model BPM, and I will hand it over to Vivian to discuss this PRR.
Thank you, Nicole. For PRR 01513, FNAC model currently is in initial stage. The reason for this revision is to include some change for FNAC model scope change management process. And the change is after the latest scope change request deadline, it's allowed to submit additional requests. However, the change will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. So the effect date of this change will be August 1st, 2023. The initial comment period was expired, and there's no comment was submitted. The next step is to post recommendation.
Thank you, Vivian.
Thank you.
Are there any questions on this PRR? Okay. The next BPM we're going to be talking about is generator management. PRR 1512 is for updates to battery energy storage system conversions, modifications, submissions, and phase generating facility clarification. The reason for this revision is to align language for battery energy storage system conversions in the repowering section with language in the modification section. We also updated the requirements for modification submissions for technical changes, clarified general facility requirements, and did some cleanup for references and removal of downsizing window language. There were no initial comments. The comment period expired on June 14th, and the next step is to post recommendations. Are there any questions on this PRR? As a reminder, if you're in the WebEx using your audio, you can use the raise hand feature, or if you're dialed in just by phone, you may hit #2 to submit a question at any time. Okay, the next BPM we're going to talk about today is outage management, and I will hand it over to Abdul to discuss this PRR.
Thank you, Nicole. Good morning, everyone. PRR 1509 is basically some clarifications for our use limited outage cards, the nature of work descriptions, specifically, or more specifically regarding PDR and RDRR uses. we did receive one comment from Olivine, and it was just a supporting comment, no request for changes or questions in it. So I appreciate the support from the Olivine folks. And that comment period, that was the only comment we got, and the comment period expired on June 14. And the next step is posting recommendations. Do we have any questions on the call today? All right, back to you, Nicole. Thank you.
Thanks, Abdul. The next BPM we're going to be discussing is reliability requirements, and I will hand that over to Melanie to discuss these PRRs.
PRR we had is 1508, which was clarifications to new use import commitment submission and processing. The reason for this revision was to provide detailed instructions to load serving entities to properly submit new use import commitment templates and explain how they are processed. To emphasize, there was no change to the existing procedure, but the revision just helps provide some clarification for the process. And this was submitted as an emergency PRR, just because the due date was at the end of the month, and this clarification helps explain what to submit and how it is processed. There were no comments, and the comment period expired on June 14th, and the next step is to post recommendation. Were there any questions for this PRR? All right, and the second one is PRR 1514, which was just the availability assessment hours for the 2024 year. There were no comments on this PRR, and the comment period expired on June 14th, and the next step is to post recommendation. Were there any comments on this PRR?
Thanks, Melanie. As a reminder, if you're on the phone, you can hit #2 or raise hands in the WebEx if you have to, or if you'd like to answer or ask a question. Sorry. The next BPM we're discussing today is the settlements and billing BPM. There are several PRRs to discuss, and I will be handing this over to Matthew to discuss these PRRs.
Thank you, Nicole. Hello, everyone. Nicole, would you go back one slide? I want to cover the context of those 6 before we dive in deep. Perfect, thank you. So we have submitted these 6 PRRs. These are for a summer release, which got extended from June 1st to July 1st. So these 6 include 3 projects and 3 defects. Since this is the second month, usually we have the stage change to final, and the reason for that is the reason why you're not seeing final here is because we added 1 more month to give participant time to review because we extended the deployment time to July 1st. So we will have this for another month. The last month will be end of July. We'll change the stage to final. Nicole, would you go to the next screen, please? Thank you. Starting with PRR 1491. This is associated to ASOC, Ancillary Service State of Charge Constraint. We haven't received any comments on this. Comment expired on June 14th. Next step is post-final decision. PRR 1492, this one is associated with the project RSEE Phase 2, which stands for Resource Efficiency Evaluation Enhancement Phase 2. The effective trade date is 7/1, and there's no comment submitted on this. Comment period expired June 14th, and next step is to post final decision. Next, please. PRR 1493. This one is associated to the change of charge group pre-calc system resource deemed delivered energy quantity to accommodate logic meter calculator scenario where the tag is curtailed in mid-hour. The effective date is July 1st on this. We haven't received any comments. Comment expired on June 14th, and next step is post-final decision. Next slide, please. PRR 1494. This one is associated to the pre-calc meter subsystem deviation penalty quantity to accurately account for resources with spin and non-spin capacity dispatched outside of contingency intervals. Just like the other ones, this the effective date on this is July 1st. We haven't received any comments. Comment period expired June 14th. The next step is to post final decision. Next, please. 1495, this one is associated to neutrality. Okay, we made some changes to accommodate the market service production allocation one-side charge or payment neutrality adjustment to measure demand in charge code 8989 and 8999 while achieving revenue neutrality. Same as the other effective date, which is July 1st. We haven't received any comments. Comment period expired June 14th. Next step is post final decision. Next slide, please. This one is the last one. It's PR 1499. This is related to Hybrid 2C. The effective date on this is July 1st. We haven't received any comments. Comment period expired June 14th. Next step is post final decision. Any questions on these 6 settlement PRRs? Okay. Back to you.
All right, great, thank you. The next BPM we're going to be talking about is market instruments. I will hand this over to Michael and Jacob to discuss these PRRs today. Michael or Jacob, if you guys are speaking, you might be muted on the WebEx.
Coordinating on our side. So PR 1496, updating fuel region prices. The reason for this is that WPTFs submit this PR to CAISO's BPM. The intent is to ensure any changes to fuel regions in the CAISO's gas price calculations that are updated in a timely manner such that they are able to be reflected in the market within a reasonable time frame. Currently, no comments. Recommendation period expired June 14th, and next step is post final decision. All right, moving on for 1500. This is the open access same time information system and CAISO market results interface report changes for resource efficiency evaluation enhancements phase 2 project. So the reason for this is so that OASIS and CMRI report changes to the resource efficiency evaluation enhancements phase 2 project, including moving 2 reports from CMRI to OASIS and creates market bid caps. Initial comments comes from 6 cities, so on behalf of Anaheim, Azusa, Banning, Colton, Pasadena, Riverside. Recommendation comments, none. Recommendation comment period expired June 14th, and next step is post final decision. Next up is PR 1502, clarifications to component level dispatchable flag. The reason for this revision is to clarify the definition of the dispatchable flag component in relation to hybrid resources. There are currently no recommendation comments, and that period expired on June 14th. The next step is post final decision.
All right, so I'll take this one as PR 1507, the Western Energy Imbalance Market, Washington greenhouse gas enhancements. So the reason for this revision is the Washington WIM greenhouse gas enhancement project, which includes the updated calculation for default energy bids and commitment costs for resources subject to Washington's greenhouse gas compliance program. This is a temporary alternative solution that will remain in effect until the full functionality can be implemented. We're expecting this in fall 2023. This change was effective on 5/1/2023, so this is an emergency PRR. The recommendation comments, there were none. The recommendation comment period expired on June 14th, 2023, and our next step is to post final decision.
All right, PR 1511, clarifications regarding the use limit plan, data template, and opportunity costs for use eliminated resources. Reason for revision, current BPM language could be improved regarding ULPLT and opportunity costs regarding use eliminated resources. There are no initial comments. That initial comment period expired June 14th. The next step is post recommendation. PRR 1516, bidding limitations for non-generating resources and default energy bid changes associated with energy storage enhancements track 1 project. The reason for this revision is to accommodate changes associated with the energy storage enhancements project. This was an emergency PR, which will be effective July 1st. Initial comments none. That comment period will expire July 19th. And the next step is post recommendation.
Thank you. Are there any questions for any of these PRRs that we just discussed? As a reminder, you can hit #2 if you're dialed in by phone only, or raise hand in the WebEx. Okay, not seeing or hearing any questions. The next BPM we're going to be talking about is market operations. And Mike, I'll hand it over to you.
Right, 1497, interchange tagging changes related to the resource sufficiency evaluation enhancements phase 2 project. Reason for revision: as a result of the resource sufficiency evaluation enhancements project phase 2, several changes to interchange tagging related to lower market priority are required. Effective date updated as part of RSC summer release is 7/1. There are some initial comments from CPUC, BPA, and the 6 cities. Some recommendation comments from SRP. That recommendation comment period expired June 14th, and the next step is post final decision. All right, PRR 1501, updates details and requirements for hybrid dynamic limits. Reason for revision: this edit seeks to add additional guidance and details around hybrid dynamic limits and submitting hybrid dynamic limits. Initial comments came from SRP, recommendation comments none, and that comment period expired on June 14th. Next step is post final decision.
Thank you. I do see we have a hand raised for Todd.
This is Todd Ryan with Pacific Gas and Electric. Back on 1497, I understand some of the comments with regards to that BPM were with respect to when the provisional firm tag generation would be curtailable, whether before EEA3 or during EEA3. And I'm wondering if you guys made any revisions to clarify to align better with the policy that was agreed upon in the policy phase.
So Todd, this is Danny with the ISO. I believe we did make those revisions. I think we posted them earlier this month or in late May.
Would you be able to be more specific? I'm looking at the current draft now, and I'm not seeing any differences. Or can you follow up off?
Yeah, I'll follow up offline with you if that's okay.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions in the queue?
See no additional questions at this time.
Thank you. All right, Mike, I'm handing it back to you for PR 1505.
I can take this one. PR 1505, refinements to penalty pricing improvements that identified from last summer. Reason for revision, this contains several refinements to penalty pricing as a result of issues and improvements identified from last summer performance. The PR contains adjustment to penalty parameters in the real-time markets for low priority exports with and without RUC schedules to comply with tariff section 34.12.1. It also includes changes to penalty prices in the real-time markets on tag quantities for imports and exports, EIM-based scheduled imports and exports, and exceptional dispatch for tie generators to ensure the intertie transmission limits are respected. The effective date for this was May 8th. Initial comments from SRP, no recommendation comments, and that recommendation comment period expired June 14th. Next step, post final decision. All right, and for PRR 1510, clarifications regarding use limited resources. The reason for revision, current BPM language requires clarification regarding use limited resources. No initial comments. Initial comments period expired June 14th. Next step is post recommendation.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have any other questions about the market operations BPM PRR? As a reminder, you can hit #2 if you're on the phone or raise hand icon in the WebEx. Okay. The last BPM we're going to discuss today is the energy imbalance market, and I will hand it over to Jacob to discuss these PRRs. Jacob, you might be muted.
I can read this. PR 1498, this is assistance energy transfer. Reason for revision, add section introducing the assistance energy transfer concept as part of the resource efficiency evaluation enhancement phase 2 project. Assistance energy transfers allow WEIM entities to provide reliability benefits to balancing authorities deficient in capacity or flexibility. BAAs that have voluntarily opted into receiving assistance energy transfers will also be subject to an ex post surcharge, the EIM assistance energy transfer surcharge when they fail the RSE. The effective date updated as part of the RSE summer release, 7/1/2023. There were initial comments from San Diego Gas and Electric, California Public Utilities Commission, PG&E, 6 cities on behalf of Anaheim, Azusa, Bannon, Colton, Pasadena, and Riverside, and Southern California Edison. The initial comment period expired June 14th, 2023, and the next step is to post recommendation. Okay, so PRR 1506, the Western Energy Imbalance Market, Washington Greenhouse Gas Enhancements. So this is the Washington WEIM Greenhouse Gas Enhancements Project, which includes the updated calculations for default energy bids and commitment costs for resources subject to Washington's Greenhouse Gas Compliance Program. This is a temporary alternative solution that will remain in effect until the full functionality can be implemented, expected in fall 2023. This change was effective on May 1st, so this is an emergency PRR. There were no recommendation comments. The recommendation comment expired on June 14th, 2023, and the next step is to post final decision. Okay, so PRR 1508, clarifications to new use import commitment submission and processing. The reason for this revision is it provides detailed instruction to load serving entities to properly submit new use import commitment templates and explains how they are processed. There is no change to the existing procedure, but the revision helps provide clarification for the process. This is an emergency PRR because it is effective immediately on 5/17, and the LLCs must submit the new use import commitment template starting the 17th and before the end of this month. And this clarification explains what to submit and how it is processed. And there are no initial comments, and the initial comment period expired June 14th. Next step is to post recommendation.
Okay, Jacob. Are there any questions on these PRRs? All right, if there are no additional questions on any of the PRRs we've discussed to date, the next BPM meeting will be on July 25th at 11 a.m. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at bpm_cm@CAISO.com. That concludes our call today. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Concludes our conference. Thank you for using Event Services. You may now disconnect.